was gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but he's just going to be so missed.
The pain is still raw for the Metcalf family after 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed on Wednesday morning at a UIL District 11-5A track meet in Frisco.
Hey everybody, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm going to go ahead and start this video out by first stating my condolences to Austin Metcalf family, friends, and all of his loved ones. I also want to state my thoughts and prayers are with Karmelo Anthony family as well. I really wish this whole situation could have had a totally different outcome, a totally different conclusion, but with all of that being said, I do have a few different takes on this topic. I'm going to share with you guys some random people's thoughts that I got from the comment sections of different posts pertaining to this incident. I'm also going to share with you guys Charleston White's point of view of this whole situation as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump back into the video.
Here's what happened according to witnesses and the police report. Metcalf got into an argument with the suspect, 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony, over a seating dispute in the bleachers. Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move from under the team's tent.
He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is because they have personal items there.
Pay close attention to how they continuously tried to make Austin out to be some kind of hero. They're saying, he was the kind of guy that stepped up all the time to do the right thing, right? This is the kind of guy that, always did the right thing. Not that he was a bully, right? Not that he was forcefully trying to remove Karmelo from underneath a tent that did not belong to him, right? And I'm not saying any of these things to victim shame, but this is according to a lot of the witness, a lot of people that are familiar with these twins. This is what they're saying.
Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony and told him to move.
He knew he wasn't supposed to be there. It's just a tragedy what happened.
That's when Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest once before running away. When Anthony was taken into custody by a Frisco police officer, Anthony reportedly confessed to the crime, saying, "He put his hands on me. I told him not to," adding that, "I was protecting myself," and then asked the police officer, "Is he going to be okay?" Metcalf died in his brother's arms.
So in Karmelo's own words after he was arrested, it makes me think that he definitely was not trying to intentionally kill Austin, right? Not at all. He was simply trying to protect himself. For whatever reason, he was, in fear of his life. And so he was trying to protect himself. We see that he appears to be very remorseful. He was worried about Austin's well-being after the fact. And we also know that an assault is when, someone touched someone in any kind of unwanted way, right? And so we know that Karmelo did not want Austin touching him because he told him so. And so at that very moment, when things were escalating, when Karmelo told Austin, "Don't touch me or else," right? That is when Austin should have gotten an adult involved or someone of a higher authority, someone that was actually in a position to make Karmelo move from underneath that tent, because Austin was not, in a position of authority over Karmelo. And I'm pretty sure that's how Karmelo felt at that time, right? Like, who the heck are you to force me, to move? Who are you to make me to move from underneath this tent? And Austin actually put his hands on Karmelo, grabbed him to forcefully remove him from the tent.
So I drove up there, went through a load of police officers, and was able to see my son on the gurney with a huge hole and blood all over him, and they were pumping him. He wasn't breathing, and his eyes were rolled back in his head. So I had to find his brother. They're twins. And so I found Hunter and tried to get him under control as best we could. And then I loaded him up in my car, and we drove to the hospital as quickly as possible. And we waited. And when the doctors came in and said that he didn't make it, it was tough. I wasn't there, but I talked to my son.
Yeah, what did
and everything, I know exactly how it all transpired. It was a multi-Frisco High School track meet. Many high schools were there. It started to rain, and they have their own little tent for memorial. And they were sitting there. And someone was behind them mouthing off, and he turned around and said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Mello." He said, "Well, you don't belong here. You don't go to memorial." He had a Centennial tracksuit on. And he said, "You need to leave. This ain't your spot." And some words were discussed. I'm not going to say on camera but he asked him to leave and basically said, "Make me." And then he wound up stabbing him in the heart and killing him. All over someone sitting in the wrong spot at a track meet.
You really have to pay attention to what people are saying, because he's saying some possibly offensive things in a very subtle way. Like Karmelo was talking crap. And so Austin turned around and asked, "Who are you?" And Karmelo answered with, "I'm Mello. Yeah, I'm Mello." And so Austin says, "Well, you don't belong here. You got to move." And Karmelo says, "Well, you got to make me move." And then Karmelo just takes a knife and stabs Austin in the chest and kills him, right? This is all according to the father's narrative. Not that according to many other witnesses that were actually there, says that Austin was the aggressor, and Austin was playing enforcer in a situation that he really had no control over in the first place. And because Austin is this stand up and out kind of guy, right? Karmelo was supposed to accept bullying, especially from someone like Austin, who seemed used to being in control and getting his way.
I just hope it doesn't happen to anyone else. This world, there need to be changes, and it starts at home. So I don't know. I'm not judging. I'm just happen to say that try to be kind in this world, and if you can't be kind, find someone who is.
And so he repeats more than once that parents need to teach their children kindness. And this is true. And he says it all starts at home. And that is true also, right? And he also states that he's not judging the other family. But yet and still, he continuously say that it all starts at home, right? And he's already told us how great and wonderful and magnificent his children were. He and his wife has already stated that, and how proud they were of their children, thus translating that they've been great parents to their kids, right? And so in a subtle way, you may be able to pick up that he's hinting at the fact that the other family, Karmelo's parents, are not so great.
If we were white, if we were Irish, if we were Jewish, if we were Poles, if we had, in fact, in your mind, a frame of reference, our heroes would be your heroes too. Nat Turner would be a hero for you instead of a threat. Malcolm X might still be alive. And everyone is very proud of brave little Israel, a state against which I have nothing. I don't want to be misinterpreted. I'm not an anti-Semite. But when the Israelis pick up guns, or the Poles, or the Irish, or any white man in the world says, "Give me liberty or give me death," the entire white world applauds. When a black man says exactly the same thing, word for word, he is judged a criminal and treated like one, and everything possible is done to make an example of this bad nigger so there won't be any more like him.
No wonder God can't bless black people, because black people got a heart of retribution and vengeance and violence and anger. They want to get back at white people. No wonder Dr. Kingdom could get some things and we can't. Because Dr. Kingdom said, "Hey man, don't hit them back. Hey man, don't hit them back." And them people got way more. Now this group say, "Let's kill them. Let's kill them." But your kids, you hear about kids every day in the hood schools getting bullied, but y'all don't have this much outrage for bullying. They have a no bullying month, but y'all don't have this much out. But now all of a sudden it's out, let's kill the bully. Most of y'all are bullies. Talk to them today. Most of y'all are, come on, cuz, OG, bullies. Come on, Crip Blood bullies. But now we want to kill the bully. When most of black children go to school every day and have to face a bully, why you think they got to wear Michael Jordan tennis shoes? But now we got a problem with bullies, huh? When have we ever told our kids to go kill the bully? We taught our kids how to stand up to the bully. No matter if it was two of them, fight both of them. But you don't put your life in danger to kill unless you got killing in you. But if you listen to kill music, you got killing in you. There's no way good kids kill. I know a nigga stabbed the girl 93 times, but before he got to 93, he dropped the knife. She begged and she pleaded. He dropped the knife. But because he was abused and he had anger and he had rage inside of him for what his daddy was doing to him, he finished up. What's in you gonna come out of you. And good kids don't stab people to death, y'all. This is a kid with some trauma. Let's get the background story first. Just because he out there in Frisco. Oh, black people, y'all wrong, and no wonder God got you cursed. I'm starting to think that curse on us is real, that the Hebrews say. This group heart is hateful. No compassion. I remember telling my brother one time, God will never let you out of jail, nigga, if you ain't got no remorse for the people you killed. No remorse for the man's family. No remorse for the man's boy's father, mother, brother. But y'all got so much for Lil Ronnie, and Lil Ronnie brought death on himself. Look, come on now. Lil Ronnie brought death on himself, and y'all had all the compassion. But here it is, a white kid, two little boys having some boy issues. And one little boy killed another little boy. You mean to tell me you black people ain't got no compassion for neither side? That's why you curse, black folks. That's why your situation, God is looking at y'all hearts. That's why your finances can't be increased. That's why your children won't go to the NFL. God is looking at y'all hearts. Black people, y'all ought to be ashamed. That's why your children are dying and being murdered the way they're being murdered. They've been your grandchildren. Man, you cursing.
I agree with a lot of what Charleston White is saying. I do, however, believe that every human being has the right and should exercise the right to protect and defend themselves. I also believe that we black people are very quickly becoming like those 666 gods, the evil, heartless, greedy, hateful people that we love to hate. And it's our egos that calls and tells us that we are some of the most virtuous, good, moral, loving, kind, people on this planet. And I believe personally that is the biggest bunch of bullshit that has been told. The truth is that we are not far behind those 666 gods. We should all care when any child loses their lives because we know and understand just how precious life is. But in the same breath, we should also be teaching our children as well that it's not okay to replace our morals with academics, right? So just because you have a 4.0 and there's 1,000 colleges that are seeking you, it's not okay for you to be a bully, right? It's not okay for you to think that you can be aggressive because you are a straight A student. No, that's not acceptable either. Like, intellect does not make you a righteous person, right? And we need to let our children know that. Instead, we try and conflate things that doesn't necessarily go together. In Charleston, yes, for the record, good kids do make bad decisions. That's life, right? That's human beings. And no matter how creatively us humans may try and be, with masking our dark side, it doesn't cease to exist. It does not cease to be, right? So yes, good kids and good people in general do bad things, right? Because we all have some bad potential housed within us. That's just life. That's humans. And so lastly, I want to state that I am not the voice for the Black community, nor am I trying to be, right? But I am someone with a voice. And I do believe that the Black community is now coming together and rallying in support of and raising money for Karmelo Anthony's legal team, because they feel as though if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was Austin, he would be looked at as some kind of hero. It would be said that, he stood his ground, he protected and defended himself, which he would have every right to do, right? And we saw in the past where if it was someone that looked like Austin, he would be able to go back to his community and raise funds for his legal defense without any questions asked, right? We've saw it in the past, time and time again, the Rittenhouses, the Luigis. You know, Luigi was just looked at as some kind of hero, as some kind of Robin Hood when he murdered an innocent person, right? These men have been vindicated because, again, it was thought that they stood their ground and they had every right to protect themselves, right? And we understand that black men 9 times out of 10 will not be looked at fairly in the public eye nor the legal sphere, right? And so I think the black community is coming together to support this young black boy to say that, you know, hey, this possibly was a good kid that was just put in a bad situation. And for those reasons, we are going to support and rally around this young man. Either way, it's a very sad and unfortunate situation for both teams and their families. And again, my condolences to the Matcliffe family. I can't overly state enough how much I wish this situation would have had a different conclusion, but such is life, right? And so I'm going to go ahead and end this video. You guys get in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, I'd like to ask you to go ahead and hit that like button. Do consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. And with that being said, I'll be back with more unpopular thoughts.